1,000 years ago, a group of humans left Earth and founded the League of Free Worlds. Among the planets they colonized was Xt-59, a world covered in dense, impassable swamps. Undeterred, humans established a city governed by a strict control system that isolates its citizens from the outside world, monitors their interactions, and enforces rigid societal rules. The system even assigns individuals their spouses and jobs. Christie despised her assigned job and husband, so she decided to escape but was immediately arrested. Christie, along with 8 other prisoners, is taken to a specialized prison facility. There they are lined up against a wall to be scanned, with all their personal data sent to central computers for the president's review. The president then decides who should be arrested and why. As the scans finish, guards bring in a 10th prisoner, his face covered by a bag. The captain openly admits he would prefer to shoot the prisoners but is constrained by the law. Instead, the prisoners are sentenced to exile in the swamplands. If they can survive a 300-kilometer trek to the Islands of Happiness, they will earn redemption. However, Christie doubts this is possible, as she has never heard of anyone successfully reaching the islands. The prisoners are taken outside. The masked man, suspicious of the setup, kicks a rock to test the electrified fence. When he realizes the fence is still active, he accuses the guards of setting up a trap. The captain announces the prisoner's exile, removes the masked man's bag, and reveals his identity as Irvin. The guards drop a supply box, warning the prisoners to leave within an hour or risk being shot. Maria, one of the prisoners, panics and tries to run into the fence but is stopped by Christie. Irvin suggests they introduce themselves, and Just, one of the prisoners, reveals he has experience in the swamps. Their conversation is interrupted when a sawwort, a dangerous creature, emerges from the ground briefly before retreating. Irvin warns that it senses vibrations to attack. As the group scrambles for supplies, Irvin and Christie choose to separate from the others, aiming to find the Islands of Happiness. Just mocks their plan and keeps most of the supplies, but Irvin forces him to share some. Irvin insists on leaving Maria behind, claiming her instability would jeopardize their survival. He explains his strategy for a 2-person team, earning him the nickname the Calculator from Christie. Irvin makes Christie walk ahead to test for unstable ground, dragging the supply box behind him. After hours of travel, Layla approaches them, asking to join and offering her supplies. Suddenly, they are attacked by gunfire. Irvin deduces the shooter is targeting him and forces Layla to leave. Irvin and Christie crawl to safety, using the box as a shield. Christie notices strange creatures on the box, but Irvin assures her they are harmless. Once they cross a magnetic ridge where guns won't function, Irvin spies on Just's group, confirming they are following his trail. Irvin also notices one prisoner is missing, and shortly after, a cannon at the facility fires, implying the missing man, Matthias, was executed. Christie questions the existence of the islands, but Irvin argues their survival challenges prove the government fears them escaping. At the facility, it's revealed Matthias was an undercover guard, and his execution was staged. The duo encounters an electrified tentacle monster that attacks Christie. Irvin sacrifices himself to save her, and following his instructions, Christie severs the tentacle. Later, Christie reveals her crime, murdering a government official in self-defense during an attempted assault. They are interrupted by Just's group, who attempt to steal their supplies. Using the tentacle as a whip, Irvin fends them off. The group encounters a sawwort, which attacks after sensing their movements. Tame panics, resulting in his capture and death by the creature. Christie scolds Irvin for not warning the group, but he defends his actions, prioritizing their survival. Meanwhile, the president orders Irvin's capture, referring to him as the advisor. Christie and Irvin are attacked by a swarm of small creatures but survive by hiding in the supply box. Without the box, they continue their journey into the swamp. Just's group splits when Layla challenges his leadership, and he falls into a swamp pit. While Jan helps him escape, most of the group follows Layla, believing her claim that Irvin's knowledge is key to survival. Irvin reveals he was an advisor to the president but turned against the system after discovering its corruption. Meanwhile, Layla's group encounters cannibalistic prisoners who capture and kill Maria. Christie grieves for Maria, but Irvin forces her to move on. Christie confesses the captain offered her freedom in exchange for killing Irvin, but she refused. Layla also admits to a similar deal, but when her tracker is discovered, she tries to escape and is killed by a swamp creature. Matthias is sent after the remaining prisoners with an old-fashioned gun. Irvin and Christie are captured by Yusa's group but manage to escape with the help of Job, who sacrifices himself later after being mortally wounded. Eventually, Irvin and Christie reach the shore and board a floating swamp island, hoping it will lead them to safety. The government system collapses without Irvin's codes. As the duo reaches a hidden military facility, Irvin deciphers the entry code based on the president's last words. Inside, they find an aircraft with one seat. Despite Irvin's insistence, Christie refuses to leave without him. Together, they share the seat and escape. The League of Free Worlds learns of XT-59's oppressive system, sending peacekeepers to liberate the planet. However, a decade later, a new and even worse system takes over.